Namaste children. Welcome to new session. This is new chapter 6 program coding. In this session we will learn about the concepts of program. What is program? Why do we need program? What are the components of program? What is variable, identifier, rules to forming identifiers, and what are the operators we are using in the program, and how to display the messages or output on the screen, how to use the if selection commands. Everything we will discuss. Let's enter into the chapter, children. This is session 1 of chapter 6 program coding. Children, you know very well computer completes its task automatically. Do you know that computers do not do task on their own because it don't have the thinking power? It will act according to our instructions. So first we have to instruct them. We have to give the set of instructions to the computer. According to our instructions, it will perform some actions. Okay. You know what program is? Right. It is a set of instructions given to computer to do some work. It is called a program. So a set of instructions given to computer to do some work is called a program. What is your everyday program? You will wake up in the morning, you will brush your teeth, you will take bath, finish your breakfast, then you will get ready to school, you will learn the subjects, then after finishing school again you will be back to home, you will play for some time, and then you will complete your homeworks. After that you will spend your time with your parents, and then you will finish your dinner and you will go to bed again. Okay, this is your everyday program. So when we give this list as command, then it will consider as a programming. Okay. So well, writing of instructions to solve a specific problems, or else writing of instructions to do a specific task in certain language is called a programming. Okay children, what is programming? What is program? Writing of instruction. A program is a collection of instructions given to the computer to do some task. That is program. Programming means writing of instructions to solve a specific problem or to do a task, specific task in certain language is called a programming. Okay, so program means set of instruction, programming means writing of instructions is called a programming. Now we will see needs for programming. Why do we need programs? Why do we need to write program? To instruct computer about what needs to be done and what data they have to work upon, what result they have to produce. We have to instruct the computer, we have to command the computer. According to our command, it will work. It will not think as its own. It will not do their own work. It will always perform our instruction. It will follow our commands only. So for this purpose only we are writing the program. We need programming. So again I'll tell you, to instruct computer about what needs to be done, what data they have to work upon, what result they have to produce. We are writing the program. These are the needs for programming. Now we will see steps to write a program. So first we have to determine the input data, and then we have to create space to hold input data, then break down the process to small steps, arrange the steps in a proper order. The final result must match the desired output. We have to check that the final result must match the desired output. So these are the steps to write a program. Next topic is component of a program. What are the components we are using in a program? We can use identifiers, literals, variables, commands and operators. These are all the components of a program. So what is identifier? Identifiers are the names given to different part in a program. Literals are actual fixed data values, and variables are names of memory locations to hold data, and commands are programming instructions to carry out specific tasks. The operators are the symbols that carry out some actions. Next component is identifier. Here the identifiers are the names given to identify different building blocks of a program. We will see some rules for forming identifiers. So first, it can have alphabets, digits, underscore and dollar sign characters. It must not be a standard instruction of data. For example, if, else, while, do, switch, break, case, class, main, etc. Because these are keywords of some language. So these keywords of the language cannot be used as identifiers. So we must avoid this instruction, standard instruction of data. Then it cannot be a standard literals. The true or false or null or values. These are the literals. So these literals cannot be used as identifiers, and it must not begin with a digit. Always identifiers must begin with a alphabet. It must not begin with a number. Next one, it can be of any length. Any number of characters we can use in identifier, and it is case sensitive. Case sensitive means uppercase and lowercase letters are treated differently. For example, the capital A is not equal to small a. Both are treated as different letters. Next, valid identifiers are given here. See some examples for the valid identifiers. My file, dates, 7_11, my file _ds. These are some examples of valid identifiers. Next, we will discuss the literals. The actual data values in a program are called as literals. The types of literals are integer, that is numeric data values, floating point literals, string literals, character type literals, or some kinds of the literals. So character type literals means a single character. String type literals are a collection of the characters which is enclosed with a double quotation. And then numerical type literals, that is number type. Floating point, that is decimal numbers, or some examples of literals. Next we will see data types. Here the data types are the type of data. It means to identify the type of data and legal operations on it. Data types are predefined keywords of a programming language that identify the type of data. For example, if you are using numbers, then it is numeric type data. When you are using your characters, alphabets, then it is character type or string type data. Next we see some valid data types. The valid data types are int, that supports integer numbers without any decimal point. Then long, it supports longer integer. Then float, this is supports real numbers, example with decimal points. The next one is double, it supports more values after decimal point. And character type data, that is supports single letter values enclosed in single quotation. And string type data, it supports any text enclosed in double quotes. So these are some valid data types. Next we will discuss about variables. Here the variable is a named memory location which holds a data value of a particular data type. Each and every data are stored in memory. To retrieve the data, we have to specify the name to the location, in which place or in which location the data are stored. By using that name, we can retrieve that data from the particular memory. So the name which is allocated or which is placed, which is for the particular location, is called a variable. A variable is a named memory location which holds a data value of a particular data type. Next we will see declaration and initialization. Declaration means declaring the variable. Initialization means assigning some value to the variable. Okay. So during the declaration, that is initialization. So declarations means just simply naming a variable. Okay. To the particular location. And initialization means we can assign some values also during the declaration. When we declare the variable, we can assign some values also. That is called as initialization. So first we will see declaration of variable. First we have to specify the type and the variable name. Example, int age. Here int is the data type, age is the variable name. Second, initialization of variable. Example, int val equal to 1000. See the difference here. In the first example, we specified the variable with some specific data type, that is int age. In the second example, we are assigning some value also to the variable. So what is the value of val? Val is 1000. Okay. So this is the declaration. During this and initialization. See here, declaration of variable, a data type with some variable. Initialization of variable means assigning some value to the variable during its declaration. Okay children, see this example. Declaration means we can specify the type as well as variable name. Initialization, we can assign some value also. Okay, so 1000 or 1001 or any number you can assign into the variable. Okay, so you can enter your age also. Next we will discuss operators. The operators or a symbol which is used in some operations. The operations are represented by operators and the objects of the operations are referred to as operands. So the objects which is used in operation is referred as operand. The symbol which is used in the particular operation is known as operator. So operations are represented by operators. There are different kinds of the operators available in every languages. In this language we will discuss about arithmetical operator, logical operator, relational operator, so first we will see operations being carried out or represented by symbols called operators. Example, you can say 10 plus 20. Here the 10 and 20 are operands. The operator what we are using, the symbol what we are using here, that is operator, that is plus. Plus sign we are using here, 10 plus 20. Here we are using plus, that is for addition. So here it is called as operator. So the total statement, equation, expression is called as operation. Okay, 10 plus 20, it is operation. The objects of operations are referred to as operands. 10 and 20 are the operands. Examples of some operators are arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, and assignment operators. Here we will see arithmetic operator, which are the symbols are used for arithmetical calculations. They are called as arithmetic operators. Example, plus for addition, minus for subtraction. Here we are using asterisk for multiplication, slash for division, and percentage for modulus, that is finding the remainder. Here the percentage sign is called as modulus operator. Next operator is relational operator. It's for comparing numbers and characters. Lesser than, greater than, lesser than equal, greater than equal, equal, and not equal. Next operator is logical operator. They are called as relational operators used with some logical operators. Logical operators are used along with the relational operators. Example for this: and, or, not. Assignment operators are the operator which is assigning some value to the variable, which is used to assign some value to the variable. That is assignment operator. Example for the assignment operator is equal, plus equal, minus equal, asterisk equal, slash equal, and modulus equal. That is percentage sign is called as modulus. So modulus equal. Okay. So these are the operators used in computer language. We will see each and every operators in the next slide. So first we will discuss arithmetic operator. They are unary operator and binary operator. The two types of arithmetic operators are unary and binary. Unary operators that act on one operand. Only one object can be used in the expression. So these kind of the operators are referred as unary operator. For example, unary plus or unary minus. It proceeds an arithmetic type operand. Unary minus proceeds an arithmetic type operand. Both are proceeds an arithmetic type. For the positive number, for addition we are using plus, for subtraction we are using minus. Binary operators are act upon two operands. These are referred as binary operator. Example for binary operators are plus, minus, slash, multiplication, and modulus. So operator with the strings. So plus sign also can be used. Addition operator also can be used with the strings. It concatenated them and gives a string. See example also given here. The first word is hi and second word is friends. So the both words are concatenated or added, combined together with the help of plus sign. So finally we will get the result as hi friends. So these are the examples for arithmetic operators: unary operator, binary operator, and plus with the strings. Children, listen some example for arithmetic operators. Addition 10 plus 2, the result will be 12. 10 minus 2, the result will be 8. This is subtraction. Next, multiplication 10 into 2, 20. Division operator 10 divided by 2, 5. Modulus operator to find out the remainder. See here 10 modulus 2. When we divide 10 by 2, we will get a remainder as 0. Okay, so this is modulus operator. Next one, increment operator. Increment operator plus plus or minus minus. It will increase the value. See here, increment operator used with some number. It will add the number here. See this example. Plus plus. Consider a equal to 10. A plus plus. We are giving example as a plus plus. Now consider the value of a is 10. So after giving this expression, the value of a will be 11. Okay. Next, a minus minus. Consider the a is same 10. Now the value will be 9 because it will decrease the value. It will subtract the 1 from 10. Next, a plus equal to 10. That means a equal to a plus 10. Already a value is 10. Next again 10 is added with a, so it become 20. See another example, that is a minus equal to 10. That is a equal to a minus 10. Already a is 10. So 10 minus 10, it become 0. See another example, that is multiplication assignment. A equal to a into 10. That means a value is 10. So 10 into 10 equal to 100. Next one, a equal to a slash 10. That is division assignment. So when we divide 10 by 10, the result will be 1. Okay. The result will be 1. That is a equal to a divided by 10. See the last example, that is modulus assignment. A equal to a modulus 10. So as I said earlier, the modulus operator gives the remainder. So when we divide a number, we will get some remainder. Okay, that remainder is find out by the modulus operator. So a equal to a modulus 10. So when we divide a by 10, we will get the remainder as 0. Okay. So these are the assignment operator: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, increment and decrement, assignment, addition assignment, subtraction assignment, multiplication assignment, division assignment and modulus assignment. So these are some examples of arithmetic expressions. Next we will see relational operators. Here some relational operators are less than, a lesser than b. Sometimes it is called as comparative operators because we are comparing one value with another using this operator. So it is called as comparative operators. A lesser than b, a greater than b, a greater than or equal to b, a lesser than or equal to b, a equal to b and a not equal to b. Okay, so less than, greater than equal, less than equal to and not equal to. These are relational operators. We will see some example for relational operators also. Lesser than, 5 lesser than 2. 5 is lesser than 2 is the example given here. But actually 5 is not lesser than 2. It is greater than 2. So the result will be false. Next, greater than operator. 5 greater than 2. Yes, 5 is greater than 2. So the result will be true. Next one, lesser than equal. So it may less or it may equal. Either less or equal. So 5 lesser than equal to 2. 5 is not lesser than 2. At the same time, it is not equal to 2. Any one of the condition is true, the result will be true. Okay. But here both the conditions are false. So it gives the result as false. 5 is not lesser. At the same time it is not equal. So the result is false. Next one is greater than equal. So 5 is greater than or equal to 2. Here 5 is greater than 2. It is not equal, but at the same time it is greater. So here one condition become true. So the result is true. Next operator is equal to operator. 5 is equal to 2. We are comparing here. Okay. Is 5 equal to 2? No. 5 is not equal to 2. So the result is false. See the next one. Not equal. 5 not equal to 2. Yes. 5 is not equal to 2. So the result is true. Okay. So these are the relational operators. See some logical operators also. Here the logical operators are and or not. So we can compare two expressions here using and or not. See this example. X equal to 6. Y equal to 3. X lesser than 10 and y greater than 1. If so, it return true. See now. X lesser than 10. What is X? X is 6. Yes. So 6 is lesser than 10. So that first condition is true. And y greater than 1. What is y? Y is 3. Yes, 3 is greater than 1. So here both the conditions are true. So it returns true. Okay. So AND operator returns true when both the given conditions become true. Okay. If any one of the condition become false, the return value will be false. See another one. OR operator. Same value. X equal to 6. Y equal to 3. See this example. X equal to 5 and y equal to 5. So we are comparing two variable with the value 5. Is x is equal to 5? No, x is greater than 5 because x value is 6. So the first condition become false. See the second condition here. Y equal to 5. Is y equal to 5? No, y is 3. So 3 is lesser than 5. So the second condition also become false. So in this example, both the condition become false. So this operator, that means OR operator, returns false as its result. Okay. So in this example, if any one of the condition is true, the return value will be true. If both the conditions are false, the return value will be false. Okay. In the first example, in case of AND operator, if any one of the condition is false, it return false. If both are true only, it will give the result as true. But in case of OR operator, if any one of the result is false, means the return value or result will be false. If both are true, if any one of the operand gives the value as true, it will give you the result as true. See third example, not. X equal to 6, y equal to 3. Not x equal to y. Not, first you see x equal to y. What is x? 6. What is y? 3. Both are true or false. I mean the condition become true or false. X is equal to y? No, false. So false, opposite value of false is true. So it return true. This is not equal. Not operator. See the assignment operator here. Example for assignment operator. Plus equal, minus equal, multiplication equal, slash equal, x plus equal to 5, that is x equal to x plus 5, x minus equal to 5, that is x equal to x minus 5, x multiplication equal to 5, that is x equal to x multiplication 5, x slash equal to 5, that means x equal to x slash 5, that is division operator. So it will add the number and the result will be stored in x. The result of subtraction will be stored in the same variable x. The multiplication result also will be stored in the same x. Then the division result also will be stored in the x. Okay. See, x equal to x plus 5. It will add 5 to x and then assigns the added values as new value for x. And x equal to x minus 5. It subtract 5 from x and then assigns a subtracted value to x as a new value. Next one, x equal to x multiplication 5. So it multiplies x by 5 and then assigns result as new values for x. Next one, x equal to x divided by 5. It divides x by 5 and assigns result as new value for x. Another example for arithmetic operators. As usual, what you learnt already, the same is given here. Equal operator, x equal to y, that is y is assigned into x. X plus equal to y, that is x equal to x plus y. Next is x minus y, that is x equal to x minus y. Okay. X multiplication equal to y, that is x equal to x multiplication y. X slash equal to y, that is x equal to x divided by y. X modulus equal to y, that is x equal to x modulus y. Next we will see the command to display some message or result on monitor. Here system.out.println or print command can be used for displaying the result on monitor. So first system.out.print will print the argument on the monitor, but the cursor remain in the same line. After printing the message, the cursor will remain in the same line. System.out.println will print the argument on the monitor, but the cursor moves to next line. See this example. How do we use these commands on the program? In the program to display the monitor, system.out.print, system.out.println. Next we will see selection command. Here the selection command or if command and if else, both examples we will see. See the first one. Here condition is true. So first we are giving some condition with the if. If the condition is true, it executes the code which is given with the if block. When the condition is false, control skip the if block and it goes to the code after it, that is outside of if block. It goes to the outside of if block. Selection command and nested if. If statement inside the if part or else part of another if. So when we use one if block within another if, then it is nested if. It is called a nested if. So if statement inside the if part or else part of another if, then it is called a nested if. Thank you, children. I hope you all understood the given topics. Once again, you recall the topics and you refer your book. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.